Woman is left by husband minutes before giving birth. A week later, she turns the tables. Jessica Miller clenched her hands on the hospital bed as the contractions intensified. At 30, she had imagined this moment 1,000 times, but never alone, never like this. Then her phone buzzed on the side table. The message from Nathan, her husband of 5 years, shattered her world in seconds. "I can't pretend anymore. I've taken my things. I'm not coming back. I'm sorry." The words seemed to dance on the screen as another contraction stabbed through her. "Doctor, I need help," she cried to the nurse passing in the hallway. "What happened, sweetheart?" Nurse Sarah rushed to her side. "My husband. Jessica could barely speak through the tears and pain. "Easy now, let's focus on the delivery. We'll deal with the rest later." For the next 4 hours, Jessica fought alone to bring her baby into the world. Between screams of pain, one question hammered in her mind. How could Nathan do this now? Now, when she needed him most. The baby was born at 3 in the morning, a perfect boy she named Ethan. When they placed him in her arms, an overwhelming mix of love and despair filled her heart. "He's beautiful," said Nurse Sarah, wiping Jessica's tears. "You were so brave." "I don't feel brave. I feel lost." In the early morning hours, alone in the room with Ethan sleeping beside her, Jessica tried to process her new reality. Nathan had left only a bag with a few of her clothes and a newborn diaper. He hadn't even left money for the hospital bills. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now, back to the story. The phone rang at 6 a.m. It was Amanda, Jessica's sister-in-law. "Jessica, I'm sorry I didn't get here in time." "Amanda, can you explain what's going on? Why did Nathan do this?" A heavy silence on the other end made Jessica's stomach twist. "Jessica, I have to tell you something. Nathan has been seeing someone else for months. It's Brittany, his secretary." "What?" Jessica felt the room spin. "He told me yesterday he couldn't pretend anymore. Said he felt trapped since you got married and the pregnancy was the last straw. You knew and didn't tell me. He made me swear to keep it secret. Said he'd handle everything after the baby was born. I never thought he'd do it like this." Jessica hung up and looked at Ethan. How would she raise a child alone? She had stopped working in her 6th month due to medical advice and had relied entirely on Nathan's income. Around 10 a.m., an elegant woman in her 60s knocked on the door. Silver hair, perfectly styled, expensive clothes, confident posture. "Excuse me, are you Jessica Miller?" "Yes, you are?" "My name is Margaret Johnson. I'm Brittany's mother." Jessica's blood ran cold. The mother of Nathan's mistress was here in the hospital, just hours after the birth. "What do you want?" "May I come in?" Margaret closed the door behind her and approached the bed carefully. "I came to apologize for what my daughter did to your family." "Your apology won't undo the damage," Jessica said coldly, holding Ethan tighter. "You're right, but you should know something. Brittany is 3 months pregnant." The room felt airless. Jessica's stomach dropped like she'd been punched. 3 months, so she was already pregnant when your husband decided to leave you, yes. He told her that you two hadn't been together for a long time and that the marriage was just for convenience. "That's a lie." "I know it is. That's why I'm here. My daughter isn't a bad person. She was deceived too. Nathan told her you were already separated and that he was just waiting for you to have the baby to finalize the divorce." Jessica didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Nathan had lied to both of them. "And why are you telling me this?" "Because when I found out the truth, I realized I needed to do what's right. Nathan deceived you just as much as he deceived my daughter, and now there are 2 innocent children caught in this mess." Margaret opened her purse and took out an envelope. "This is to help with the baby's initial expenses. I know it won't solve everything, but it's the least I can do." "I can't accept this." Jessica pushed the envelope back. "Please take it. It's not charity, it's responsibility. My daughter is part of this situation, so I am too." After Margaret left, Jessica was alone with her thoughts. Ethan woke up, and she breastfed him for the first time, feeling a mix of love and terror. How was she going to take care of him alone? That afternoon, the hospital's social worker came to talk. Jessica, I need to check some information about your financial situation for the hospital discharge. What kind of information? Health insurance, home address, financial responsibility? Jessica's heart raced. Had Nathan cancelled her insurance when he left? What about the apartment they lived in? Can I make some calls? Jessica tried calling the insurance company, but found out her coverage had been cancelled the night before. Nathan had called the provider, claiming marital separation. How can he do this? She asked the social worker. Technically, he's within his rights as the policyholder. You'll need to cover the costs of the delivery and hospitalization. How much is it? About $8,000. Jessica felt the ground drop beneath her. She didn't even have $200 in her account. That night, alone in the dark room with Ethan in her arms, she tried to think of someone she could call. Her parents had passed away 3 years ago in an accident. She had no siblings. The few friends she had were from Nathan's social circle and surely already knew everything. Then she remembered Catherine Wilson, her former boss. Jessica had worked as an administrative assistant at Catherine's consulting firm for 2 years before marrying Nathan. Catherine had always been demanding but fair, and Jessica knew she respected hard-working people. With trembling hands, she dialed the number she still knew by heart. Hello? Ms. Wilson, it's Jessica Miller. I worked for you 5 years ago as an assistant. Jessica, of course I remember. How are you? Actually, I'm not doing well. I'm at the hospital. I had a baby yesterday, and I need help. What happened? My husband left me, by text, while I was in labor. The silence on the other end lasted a few seconds. Where are you? Mercy General Hospital in Beacon Hill. I'll be there in an hour. Catherine arrived at the hospital carrying a bag of fruit and a bouquet of flowers. At 62, she still carried herself with the firm posture of someone who had built a business from scratch after being widowed young. First, let me see this baby, she said, approaching the bed. Jessica showed her Ethan, who was sleeping peacefully. He's beautiful. What are you naming him? Ethan. Ethan Miller. Miller? You're not using the father's last name? I don't want my son to carry the name of a man who abandoned him before he was even born. Catherine smiled for the first time since arriving. I like your attitude. Now tell me everything that happened. Jessica told her about Nathan's message, about Margaret's visit, about the cancelled agreement, about not having money to pay the hospital. That man is a coward, said Catherine when Jessica finished. But now let's focus on what really matters, you and Ethan. Mrs. Wilson, I know I have no right to ask this, but I've already taken care of the hospital bills. I'll pay your expenses and you'll work for me to pay me back. Work? But I have a newborn baby. Exactly why. I'm starting a new project at the company, a corporate daycare for employees who are mothers. I need someone to manage it, someone who understands the struggles of being a working mum. But I don't have any management experience. You have something better. You have motivation, and motivation moves mountains. Catherine explained she had decided to create the daycare after seeing several talented employees leave the company because they couldn't balance work and motherhood. The project will start in 3 months. Until then, you can work from home, organizing suppliers, permits, and hiring. Your salary will be double what you made as an assistant. Why are you doing this for me? Because I've been in your shoes. When my husband passed, I was left alone with a 2-year-old daughter and a bankrupt company. Someone gave me a chance when I needed it most. Now it's my turn to give that chance to someone else. On her second day at the hospital, Jessica woke up feeling different. For the first time since giving birth, she wasn't just thinking about Nathan's betrayal. She was thinking about the future. Ethan woke up crying and she nursed him while jotting down ideas in a notebook Catherine had brought. What would the daycare space look like? What kind of professionals would they need to hire? What would the children's routine be? Around 10 in the morning, Amanda showed up at the hospital with another bag of Jessica's clothes. Nathan asked me to bring this, and he also gave me a message. What message? He wants to talk to you. I have nothing to say to him. Jessica, I know you're hurt, but you two have a child together. You'll need to figure this out. He gave up his right to be a father when he abandoned me. That's not exactly how the law works. The law can force him to pay child support, but it can't force him to be a good father, and I won't push it. That afternoon, Jessica got a call from an unknown number. Hello? Hi, Jessica, it's Nathan. She almost hung up right then, but something made her hold the phone. What do you want? I want to know how the baby is. Now you want to know? 48 hours after abandoning me while I was pregnant? Jessica, I know I messed up, but no buts, Nathan. You made a choice. Now, live with it. Please, let me explain. I was confused, scared. And you think I wasn't scared? You think having a child is easy? That's not it, it's just Brittany was pressuring me to make a decision. Brittany. So it's her fault. No, it's my fault. But she said she wouldn't stay with me if I didn't settle things with you. And you chose her. I thought it was the right thing. For who? For you, because it certainly wasn't right for me and your son. How's the baby? Ethan is fine, and he'll stay fine without you. Ethan, you used the name we picked. I used the name I chose. You gave up your right to have a say in anything about my son. Jessica, please, let me see him just once. No, I'm his father. A father is someone who raises a child, not just someone who helped make one. And you made it very clear you don't want to raise him. I changed my mind. You changed your mind, or Brittany changed her mind? The silence on the other end confirmed her suspicions. That's what I thought. Nathan, you made your choice. Now, let me do mine. Ethan and I will be fine without you. On the third day, as Jessica was organizing the paperwork for her hospital discharge, a woman appeared at the door of the room. Blonde, pregnant, with a face that showed she had cried a lot. Are you Jessica? I am, and you must be Brittany. Can I come in? You can, but we don't have much to talk about. Brittany approached the bed slowly, looking at Ethan sleeping in the crib beside it. He's beautiful. What do you want, Brittany? I want to apologize. Your apologies won't change anything. I know, but I need you to know I didn't realize you two were still married. Nathan told me you'd been separated for months. And you believed him? Why wouldn't I? He never gave me a reason to doubt him. And when did you find out the truth? When my mother told me she had come here to the hospital. Jessica studied Brittany for a few seconds. She seemed genuinely remorseful. What are you going to do now? I don't know. Nathan is desperate. He says he made the biggest mistake of his life. And what do you think? I think he really did. But I don't know if I can forgive him for using me like this. How far along are you? 3.5 months. And what will you do about the baby? I'm keeping it. No matter what happens with Nathan, I'm having my child. For the first time since Brittany arrived, Jessica felt a flicker of sympathy for her. Look, Brittany, I can't say I forgive you because you were part of destroying my family, but I can say I understand you were also deceived. Thank you for saying that. But now each of us has to move forward. Nathan will have to decide what he wants to do. He'll have 2 children in the world and will have to take responsibility for both. Would you let him see Ethan? Not right now. Maybe in the future if he proves he's really changed. But for now, no. After Brittany left, Jessica kept thinking about the whole situation. Nathan had destroyed 2 families with his lies, and now 2 women and 2 children would have to deal with the consequences. On the 4th day, Catherine showed up at the hospital with a laptop and a stack of documents. How are you feeling? Better. More focused. Good. Because we have work to do. Catherine opened the laptop and showed Jessica the blueprints for the future daycare. The space will be on the ground floor of the company building. Capacity for 40 children, nursery, activity room, cafeteria, outdoor area. Wow, this is amazing. And you're going to be the director of it all. Director? I thought I'd just be the manager. I changed my mind. I want you to be my partner in this project. 20% of the daycare will be yours. Mrs. Wilson, are you serious? I've never been more serious in my life. You'll invest your work, I'll invest the money. Together, We'll create something incredible." Jessica could hardly believe what she was hearing. 3 days ago, she was an abandoned housewife without a penny. Now she was becoming a business partner. "How will my share work?" "You'll receive a salary as director, plus a share of the profits as a partner. We estimate that in 2 years, you'll have a monthly income of $15,000. $15,000? Nathan made 8. So you'll earn almost double what your ex-husband made. How's that for a twist? That night, Jessica barely slept. Not from anxiety or sadness, but from excitement. For the first time in a long while, she was looking forward to the future. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now, continuing. On the 5th day, the day of her hospital discharge, Jessica woke up early to pack her things. Ethan was more awake and she took the chance to talk to him while changing his clothes. "You know, my love, your mommy is going to work very hard to give you the best. It'll be tough sometimes, but we'll make it." A nurse entered the room to perform the final procedures. "Where will you be going with the baby?" "To my new home. My business partner arranged an apartment for us." "How wonderful. And the baby's father?" "Ethan doesn't have a father. He just has a mother who loves him more than anything in the world." Around 10 in the morning, as Jessica was finishing packing her bag, Nathan appeared at the door of the room. She hadn't seen him since the morning he left home 5 days ago. "Hi, Jessica. What are you doing here?" "I came to pick you up. To take you home." "What home? Didn't you leave to be with your girlfriend?" "Brittany broke up with me." "Oh, I see. Now that she dumped you, you remembered you have a family." "It's not like that." "It's exactly like that, Nathan. You only want to come back because your backup plan didn't work out." "Jessica, I made a terrible mistake. I was confused, scared of the responsibility of fatherhood. And you think I wasn't scared? Do you think it's easy for a woman to have her first child?" "I know it's not. That's why I want to help you now." "Now it's too late. Please, give me a second chance." "For Ethan. Don't say my son's name. You gave him up when you abandoned me. He's my son too, biologically maybe, but to be a real father, you have to be there from the start, and you chose not to be." At that moment, Catherine entered the room, carrying flowers and a gift for Ethan. "Good morning, Jessica. Ready to go home?" "Who are you?" Nathan asked. "I'm Jessica's new boss and business partner, and you must be the cowardly ex-husband." "Excuse me." "You heard me. A man who abandons his pregnant wife is a coward." "You don't know the whole story. I know perfectly well. And you know what I think? I think Jessica was lucky you showed your true colors before Ethan grew up and was disappointed by his father." Nathan turned red with anger. "You can't keep me from seeing my son." "No one's keeping you from anything," Catherine said calmly. "You can see your son whenever you want. Just pay child support on time, schedule a visit and come by. Like any separated father does." "But I don't want to be a separated father. I want my family back." "You should have thought of that before sending a text message to end your marriage," Jessica replied. Nathan tried to approach the crib where Ethan was sleeping, but Jessica stepped in front of him. "No. He's my son." "Then prove it. Pay child support. Show up regularly. Be responsible. But for now, you're not getting near him." "I'll fight for my rights." "Go ahead," Catherine said. "But remember, you abandoned your family. That won't look good in court." Nathan stormed out, slamming the door. Jessica sat on the bed, shaking. "Can he really force me to let him see Ethan?" "He can try. But a man who abandons his pregnant wife doesn't have much standing with a judge, especially if you have good lawyers." "I can't afford expensive lawyers." "Who said you'd be paying? Our company has an excellent legal department. They'll handle everything." An hour later, Jessica left Mercy General Hospital carrying Ethan in her arms. Catherine had arranged a car with a baby seat to take them to the apartment that would be their new home. The apartment was small but cozy, 2 bedrooms, a living room, kitchen and laundry area. Furnished with the basics, a bed, sofa, fridge, stove and table. In the smaller room, there was a new crib and a dresser with a changing pad. "Mrs. Wilson, this is too much." "It's not too much, it's what you deserve. And remember, In 2 years, you'll be earning enough to buy a place much nicer than this. How can I ever repay such kindness? By making the corporate daycare a success, showing other women that it's possible to start over, and raising her son to be a much better man than his father. That night, alone in the apartment with Ethan, Jessica sat on the couch and looked around. 3 days ago, her world had collapsed. Now she had a home, a job, a future to look forward to, and most importantly, hope. Ethan woke up crying and she picked him up. "You know, my love, I think we're going to be okay. Your mommy will work hard, but everything will work out." In the following weeks, Jessica threw herself into the daycare project. Working from home with Ethan always nearby, she researched suppliers, studied regulations, and interviewed candidates for the team. Catherine stopped by the apartment almost every day to check on the progress and help with Ethan when Jessica needed to make important calls. "How are you feeling?" Catherine asked during one of these visits. "Tired but happy. It's strange to say that, considering everything that's happened." "It's not strange. You're discovering you're stronger than you thought. Sometimes I think about Nathan. And I feel sorry for him. He lost the chance to watch his son grow up because of a woman who didn't even want him in the end. Nathan's problem isn't Brittany, it's himself. Men like him always find excuses for their cowardice. Do you think he'll try to see Ethan again? Probably, but only when he realizes you're doing fine without him. That's typical of men like that. They only want what they can't have. 2 weeks after leaving Mercy General Hospital, Jessica got a call from Margaret, Brittany's mother. "How are you and the baby?" "We're fine. Thank you for asking. I wanted to share some news. Brittany has ended things with Nathan for good. I figured that would happen. He lied to her about so many things. She found out you two were still living together until the day you gave birth, that he never filed for divorce, that he told her you knew about their relationship. Wow. Brittany is very remorseful. She really believed his lies. And how is she handling the pregnancy? It's been hard. She lost her job because her boss found out she was having an affair with a married man, and Nathan isn't in a position to help financially. I'm sorry for her. Jessica, can I ask you something unusual? Go ahead. Would you hire Brittany to work at your daycare?" Jessica was silent for a few seconds. "Does she have experience with children? She's a teacher. She worked at a private school for 5 years before joining Nathan's company. Why did she switch fields? Because the pay was better, but she always wanted to go back to education." "Margaret, I'm not sure this is a good idea. I completely understand if you say no. I just thought maybe 2 women who went through the same situation could help each other. Let me think about it." That night, Jessica talked to Catherine about Margaret's proposal. "What do you think?" "I think it depends on how you feel about it. I don't resent Brittany. She was deceived too. But could you work with her every day?" "I don't know. Maybe it would be good for both of us. Maybe we could turn the page together. If you want to try, I support you. But on one condition, the past stays in the past. At the daycare, you're just co-workers." "Agreed." 2 weeks later, Jessica called Margaret. "Margaret, is the offer for Brittany still open?" "Yes, it is." "Then schedule an interview for her. But make it clear it'll be a standard professional interview. I won't hire her out of pity." "Understood. Thank you so much, Jessica." Brittany's interview took place in Catherine's office. Jessica conducted the conversation professionally, asking about experience, teaching methods, salary expectations. "Why do you want to work here?" was Jessica's final question. "Because I believe in the project, and because I'd like to restart my career in a place where I can make a difference in the lives of children and mothers." "Brittany, if I hire you, one thing needs to be clear. What happened between us in the past can't interfere with work." "I completely agree. You're hired. Salary of $4,000 with an automatic raise after 6 months of experience." "Really?" Brittany began to cry. "Really? But now let's talk about your responsibilities." The daycare opened 2 months after Jessica left Mercy General Hospital. The event was small but emotional, with the first 20 families who would use the service in attendance. Jessica gave a short speech at the opening, holding Ethan in her arms. This daycare was born from a real need, that of women who need to work, but don't want to give up being closely involved in their children's growth. Here, every child will be cared for as if they were part of our own family. In the audience was Margaret, proud of the two women who had overcome the difficult situation caused by Nathan. After the ceremony, while Jessica was organizing papers in the daycare office, Brittany approached her. "Jessica, can I tell you something?" "Of course. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I know it wasn't easy for you. Brittany, we're both mothers. Our children will grow up knowing they had mothers who helped each other instead of tearing each other down. I think that's more important than any resentment." "You're right. And now let's work together to make this daycare the best in New York." 3 months after opening, the daycare already had a waiting list. The concept of childcare near mothers' workplaces was so successful that other companies began reaching out to Catherine to implement the same model. "Jessica, we need to talk," Catherine said during one of her morning visits to the daycare. "Did something happen?" "Yes, something good. We have 3 offers from companies wanting to franchise our daycare." Franchise. They want to pay to use our model, our brand, our methodology. And what does that mean for us? It means, instead of 1 daycare, we could have 10, and you, as a partner, will earn a percentage from each franchise. My God. I'm talking about a monthly income of $50,000 in 2 years. Jessica had to sit down. 6 months ago, she was a dependent housewife. Now she was about to become a successful businesswoman. "Catherine, this scares me a little." "Why?" "Because it's all happening so fast. So big." "Jessica, you were born for this. You have a gift for leadership. You understand working mothers' needs. You know how to manage people. Don't be afraid of your own success." "And Ethan, with all this responsibility, will I still be a good mother?" "You'll be an even better mother, because you'll teach your son that it's possible to succeed in life through hard work and dedication." Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now, continuing. That night, as Ethan slept, Jessica sat on the apartment balcony and reflected on everything that had happened. In 6 months, she had gone from rock bottom to the possibility of a future she hadn't even dared to dream of. The phone rang. It was a number she didn't recognize. "Hello? Jessica? It's Nathan." She almost hung up, but decided to hear him out. "What do you want, Nathan?" "I want to talk about Ethan." "What about Ethan?" I'd like to meet my son." "Now, you want to meet him? 6 months later?" "I was trying to sort my life out first." "And did you?" "I'm trying. I got a new job. I'm living alone. And Brittany? It's over between us." "Definitely. What a surprise." "Jessica, I know I made terrible mistakes, but Ethan is my son too." "Nathan, you can see Ethan, but there are rules." "What rules?" "First, you'll pay child support regularly, 15% of your net salary." 15%? Isn't that too much? That's what the law requires. Second, visits will be scheduled and supervised. Supervised by whom? By me or someone I designate. Someone. Third, if you miss a visit without justification, you lose the right to the next one. That's very strict. "Nathan, you abandoned your son. Now you'll have to earn the right to be his father." "What if I don't accept these conditions?" "Then you don't see Ethan. It's that simple." Nathan was silent for a few seconds. "Fine, I accept." "Good. The first visit will be on Saturday, from 2 to 4 in the afternoon, here at my place. Just 2 hours. To start, yes. If you prove you're reliable, we'll extend the time." On Saturday, Nathan arrived promptly at 2 in the afternoon. Jessica opened the door and was surprised by his appearance. Thin, unshaven, wrinkled clothes. He was clearly struggling. "Hi, Jessica." "Hi, come in." Nathan entered the apartment and looked around. "You're living well." "I am. Ethan's in the living room playing on the rug." When Nathan saw his son, his eyes filled with tears. He's grown so much. Babies grow fast, especially when you're not around to see it. Can I hold him? You can, but be careful, he doesn't know you. Nathan approached slowly and picked Ethan up. The baby looked at him curiously, not crying but showing no familiarity. Hi, Ethan. I'm your daddy. He doesn't know who you are, Jessica said, not cruelly, just stating a fact. I know. It's my fault. During the 2-hour visit, Nathan tried playing with Ethan, feeding him, changing his diaper. The baby accepted him, but it was clear there was no bond yet. How's his health? Nathan asked. Perfect. Doctor visits up to date. Vaccinations on schedule, developing normally. And you? How are you? I'm fine. Working a lot, but fine. I heard you opened a daycare. I didn't. I'm a partner in a daycare chain, and we're expanding. Wow. You were always smart, but you never imagined I could succeed without you. That's not it. That's exactly it, Nathan. You underestimated me. Thought I'd be broken forever. And I'm the one who ended up broken. You broke yourself. I rebuilt myself. When the visit ended, Nathan said goodbye to Ethan reluctantly. Can I come back next week? If you deposit the child support by Wednesday, you can come back on Saturday. How much is the child support again? 1,200 raise, 15% of your 8,000 salary. Actually, my salary is 7,000 now. Then it's 1,050 raise. Nathan, don't try to trick me with numbers. I can request proof of income any time. After Nathan left, Jessica kept thinking about their conversation. He seemed genuinely remorseful, but she knew she couldn't let her guard down. Men like Nathan were quick to make promises when they were struggling. The following Monday, Jessica was at the daycare office when she got an unexpected call from a lawyer. Mrs. Jessica Miller? Yes. My name is Dr. Richard Thompson. I represent Nathan Thompson. He's filing for expanded visitation rights. What do you mean? He wants unsupervised visits with his son for longer periods. Dr. Thompson, Nathan abandoned his entire family. He has no right to demand anything. Legally, he has rights as a father, and the conditions you've set are very restrictive. The conditions I set protect my son. Do you have a lawyer? I do. And rest assured, we will challenge any attempt to grant privileges to a man who abandoned his own son. After hanging up, Jessica called the legal department of Catherine's company. Dr. Michael, I need your help. What happened? Nathan is trying to get more extensive visits with Ethan through the courts. He has the right to try, but we have very strong arguments against him. What arguments? Abandonment of the home, abandonment of a dependent, failure to provide financial support during the pregnancy. There are many things working against him. And if the judge rules in his favor? Unlikely. A man who sends a text message ending his marriage while his wife is in labor won't earn any sympathy from a judge. The hearing was scheduled for 2 weeks later. Jessica arrived at the courthouse accompanied by Dr. Michael and Catherine. Nathan was there with his lawyer, along with a woman she didn't recognize. During the hearing, Nathan's lawyer argued that supervised visits were humiliating and that preventing a father from seeing his child freely was harmful. Dr. Michael countered with facts. The abandonment during childbirth, the lack of financial support, the emotional instability Nathan showed by leaving his family for another woman and then being abandoned himself. Your Honor, said Dr. Michael, the petitioner claims paternal love, but for 6 months he showed no genuine interest in the child's well-being. The mother, on the other hand, built a stable and prosperous life for herself and her son alone. The judge listened to both sides and reviewed the evidence. I'll be very direct, said the judge. Mr. Nathan, you committed a series of irresponsible acts that resulted in family abandonment. The child's mother has every right to be cautious about your visits. But, Your Honor, I regret it. Regret doesn't erase actions, sir. Visits will remain supervised for another 6 months. If you demonstrate consistency and responsibility, we may reconsider. What about the child support amount? Asked Nathan's lawyer. The support is set by law, 15% of your net income, and Mr. Nathan, if there's any delay in payment, visits will be automatically suspended. Leaving the courthouse, Nathan tried to talk to Jessica. Jessica, please. Nathan, the judge was clear. Prove you've changed and things may change too. I'm trying. Then keep trying. But no pressure. Ethan isn't a trophy you'll win. He's a child who needs stability. That same week, Jessica received an offer that would change her life again. A major hotel chain wanted to hire her company to create nurseries in all their locations across the country. Jessica, said Catherine, we're talking about a $10 million contract. $10 million? Your share would be $2 million, over 2 years. Catherine, this is surreal. It's well-deserved. You created something unique, something that truly works and helps people. Should we accept? Only if you're ready to be even busier. There will be travel, meetings, a lot of work. What about Ethan? Ethan goes with you. We'll set things up so you can work without sacrificing being a mother. The contract was signed a month later. Jessica, at 31, officially became a millionaire. With her financial success, she bought her own home in an upscale neighborhood in New York, a house with a garden for Ethan to play in, an office for her to work, and a guest room for when Catherine wanted to stay. Nathan's first visit to the new house was awkward for him. Wow, this house is yours? It's ours, mine and Ethan's. Must have cost over $1 million, $1.5 million. Nathan fell silent. The contrast between his situation and Jessica's was stark. How did you manage to save so much money? By working, Nathan. While you were trying to sort out your emotional mess, I was building an empire. An empire. We have 12 daycares operating in 5 states, 50 employees, over 300 children served daily. You were always ambitious, but this, Nathan, it wasn't ambition, it was necessity. When you left me, I had 2 choices, destroy myself or rebuild myself. I chose to rebuild. I made so many mistakes. You did. But your choices brought consequences for you and opportunities for me. During this visit, Ethan, now 10 months old, could already stand on his own. Nathan tried to help him take his first steps. Come on, Ethan, come to Daddy. Ethan looked at Nathan, then at Jessica, and chose to crawl toward his mother. He doesn't recognize me as his father, Nathan said, frustrated. Because you're not present. Being a father isn't just about biology, Nathan. It's about being there, daily care, showing up for the important moments. But I come here every week. 2 hours a week don't make you a present father. They make you a visitor. This conversation was a turning point for Nathan. He began to realize he had lost far more than he imagined when he walked away from his family. A few weeks later, Jessica received an unexpected call. It was Brittany. Jessica, can I tell you something? Of course. Nathan reached out to me. Jessica's stomach twisted. And what did he want? He wants to get back together. And what did you say? I said no, absolutely not. Why? You still have feelings for him. I do. But I've realized a man who abandons a pregnant woman can abandon anyone. And I don't want to live in fear of being left again. What about your baby? I'll raise her alone. Just like you did. Brittany, if you need anything... Thank you, actually, I wanted to ask for your advice. Go ahead. Do you think it would be weird if I asked to deliver at the same hospital where you had Ethan? Why would it be weird? I don't know. I thought you might think I'm copying you. Brittany, there's no copyright on hospitals. Have your baby where you feel safest. Thank you. And Jessica, thank you for everything. For giving me a job, for not treating me like an enemy, for showing me it's possible to start over. 3 months later, Brittany gave birth to her daughter, a little girl she named Margaret after her grandmother. Jessica visited them at the hospital, bringing flowers and a gift for the baby. She's beautiful, Jessica said, looking at the newborn. Thank you, and thank you for being here. We're co-workers, and now we're both single mothers. We have to support each other. Nathan came yesterday. How did it go? He wanted to hold her, cried, said he wanted to be a good father to her. And do you believe him? I want to. But I'll do what you did. He'll have to prove he's changed. That's the right approach. Jessica, can I ask you something personal? Of course. Don't you ever miss having a partner? Jessica took a moment before answering. Sometimes, yes. But I've learned it's better to be alone and happy than with the wrong person. And now Ethan and my work fill my life completely. Do you ever think about being with someone else? I do. But only if I find someone who adds to my life, not someone who takes away or divides it. That same month, Jessica was invited to speak at a women's entrepreneurship conference. The theme was Fresh Starts Turning Crises into Opportunities. During her talk, she shared her story without holding back. She spoke about being abandoned, about fear, about how Catherine believed in her when she didn't even believe in herself. When my husband left me, I thought my life was over. Today, I know my real life was just beginning, she told an audience of 300 women. At the end of the lecture, a woman approached the stage. Jessica, my name is Deborah. I'm 50 years old and was just left by my husband after 25 years of marriage. I thought it was too late to start over. It's never too late, Deborah. At 50, you have life experience I didn't have at 30. Use that to your advantage. But how do I begin? First, stop seeing yourself as a victim. You weren't abandoned. You were freed from a man who didn't deserve you. This conversation gave Jessica a new business idea, a mentorship program for women who needed to rebuild after traumatic separations. 6 months later, the Fresh Start program already had 50 participants, women of all ages who had faced abandonment, betrayal, difficult divorces, and were now rebuilding their lives with support and guidance. Catherine, look what we've created, Jessica said, showing the program's results. What you created, Catherine corrected. I just gave the initial push. 50 women who climbed out of depression and are moving forward. And all because of your own story of overcoming. Do you know what amazes me most? What? The strength we discover we have when we need it. I never imagined I was capable of all this. I did. From the first day at the hospital, I saw something special in you. What? Your refusal to play the victim. You suffered, cried, despaired, but you never wallowed in self-pity, and that makes all the difference. Ethan turned 1 at a beautiful party in Jessica's new home. Catherine, Margaret, Brittany with little Margaret, some staff from the daycare, and 3 women from the Fresh Start program who had become close friends were all there. Nathan arrived right on time, bringing an expensive gift for his son. You didn't need to spend so much, Jessica said, eyeing the imported toy car he'd brought. It's my son's first birthday. Ethan doesn't need expensive gifts. He needs presence. I'm trying to be present. 2 hours a week isn't presence, Nathan. It's a visit. What do I need to do for you to forgive me? Nathan, I've already forgiven you. Forgiving was necessary for me to move on. But forgiving doesn't mean forgetting or trusting again. And Ethan? Doesn't he have the right to have his father in his life? He does, but you lost that right when you walked away. Now you have to earn it back. How? By being reliable, keeping promises, showing you've truly changed, not just in words. During the party, Ethan took his first steps. He stood in the middle of the room, between Jessica and Catherine, and chose to walk toward Jessica. His first steps, Jessica shouted, scooping him up and crying with emotion. Nathan was across the room and missed it. By the time he approached, Ethan was already in his mother's arms, surrounded by cheers. Did he take his first steps? He did, Catherine replied, straight into his mother's arms. The moment was symbolic. Ethan, without understanding, had chosen the person who'd always been there for him. After the party, as she tidied up, Jessica reflected on the past year. 12 months ago, she'd been abandoned at Mercy General Hospital. Now she was a successful businesswoman, a fulfilled mother, a mentor to other women, a homeowner with a bright future. Ethan slept peacefully in his crib, surrounded by love and security. She'd kept the promise she made to him at the hospital, to give him her best, even if it meant rebuilding her entire life. The phone rang, an international call. Hello? Mrs. Jessica Miller? Yes, speaking. My name is Daniel Coleman. I represent an American hotel chain. We'd like to implement your daycare model in the United States. Really? We're talking about a $50 million contract for international franchise rights. Jessica needed to sit down. $50 million meant complete financial independence, not just for her, but for Ethan for the rest of his life. "Mr. Daniel, can I call you back tomorrow? I need to discuss this with my business partner." "Of course, but Ms. Miller, our offer is very serious. We want to implement the Miller-Wilson corporate daycare model in 300 hotels." After hanging up, Jessica stared at the phone for several minutes. 2 years ago, she was a housewife with no prospects. Now, she was receiving a multi-million-dollar international offer. The next morning, she told Catherine about the call. $50 million, Catherine repeated. "That's roughly 250 million reais. It's surreal. It's deserved. Jessica, you've created something revolutionary. It was only a matter of time before the world recognized it. Your share would be 100 million reais, and yours 150 million. Catherine, I don't know if I'm ready for this. No one is ever ready for absolute success, but you deserve this more than anyone I know. What if it goes wrong? What if it goes right? Jessica, you've already succeeded. This contract is just the world acknowledging what you've already achieved here." The negotiations with the Americans lasted 3 months. Contracts were reviewed, trips were made, presentations were prepared. Ethan accompanied Jessica to several of these meetings, always with a nanny to care for him when needed. The contract was signed in New York in the presence of lawyers from both countries. Jessica was accompanied by Catherine and Ethan, who had turned 15 months old and was already saying a few words. "Rich mama," were his first words when they returned to the hotel after the signing. "No, my love. Hard-working mama," Jessica corrected. Back in the United States, Jessica decided to make a change in her life. She bought a farm 2 hours from New York, where Ethan could grow up close to nature, but kept the city house for workdays. The first person she invited to see the farm was, surprisingly, Brittany. "Why did you ask me to come here?" Brittany asked as their daughters played on the lawn. "Because I want to offer you a partnership." "What do you mean?" "I want you to be my partner in the US operations of the daycares." "Jessica, I don't have the money for that. You have something more valuable. Competence and dedication. I'll give you 15% of the US company." "Have you lost your mind?" "I've lost it to clarity. Brittany, you're one of my best employees. You're a mother, you understand the challenges, you have a degree in education. You're perfect to help expand the business." "But why are you doing this?" "Because I've learned that success unshared is incomplete success, and because I want Margaret to grow up seeing that women can succeed by working together." Brittany cried as she accepted the offer. 2 years after Nathan had left them, the 2 women he had hurt were building an empire together. 6 months later, Nathan asked to speak with Jessica privately. "Jessica, can I ask you something?" "Go ahead." "Do you hate me?" "No, Nathan. I stopped wasting energy on negative feelings toward you." "So you've forgiven me?" "I have, but forgiving doesn't mean forgetting or trusting again." "I'd like to be more involved in Ethan's life." "What do you mean?" "I'd like to take him for some weekends with me." "Nathan, Ethan is 1.5 years old. He still nurses. He can't be away from me for that long. And when he can, we'll talk. But you'll have to prove you can be responsible for a child for an entire weekend." "How can I prove that?" "By starting to be part of his routine. Picking him up from daycare sometimes, taking him to doctor's appointments, participating in daily activities." "Would you let me do that?" "If you prove consistency and responsibility, yes." In the following months, Nathan started getting more involved in Ethan's routine. He began picking him up from daycare twice a week, took him to a few medical appointments, and participated in some activities. Ethan started recognizing him as a familiar figure, though he still clearly preferred his mother in every situation. "He's getting used to me," Nathan said to Jessica after one of these activities. "He is. But remember, consistency is key. If you miss or disappoint him once, you'll have to start all over." "I won't miss it." "I hope not, for Ethan's sake." Around the same time, Jessica started receiving invitations to give lectures worldwide. Her story of overcoming adversity and business success inspired women in many countries. During a lecture in London, she met Andrew Parker, an English businessman who worked on social projects. He was 35, a father of 2 children from a previous marriage, and was impressed by Jessica's presentation. "You're an inspiration," he said, approaching her after the lecture. Thank you. And what do you do? I create professional training programs for women in vulnerable situations. How interesting. It's similar to my Fresh Start program. May I invite you to dinner? I'd love to learn more about your work. Jessica hesitated. Since Nathan, she hadn't been romantically interested in any man. Why not? But just to talk about work. Of course, just work. The dinner lasted 4 hours. Andrew was intelligent, good-humored, and genuinely interested in Jessica's social work. More importantly, he spoke about his children with affection and responsibility. How do you balance work and fatherhood? Jessica asked. It's not easy, especially after the divorce, but my kids are my priority. Every professional plan takes their needs into account. Do you have shared custody? Yes, and I stick to it religiously. They're with me every other week. And your ex-wife, how do you two get along? With respect and civility. We ended the marriage, but not the partnership in raising our children. Jessica was impressed by Andrew's maturity. It was the exact opposite of the irresponsibility Nathan had shown. What about you? How's your relationship with Ethan's father? Complicated. He left me when I was pregnant, then wanted to come back when his life fell apart, and now he's trying to rebuild a relationship with his son. That must be hard. It is, but I do it for Ethan. Every child deserves the chance to know their father, even if that father isn't ideal. In the following days, Andrew and Jessica kept in touch through emails and phone calls. He showed genuine interest in her work and shared experiences from his own projects. When Jessica returned to the United States, she stayed in contact with Andrew. They regularly talked about work, their children, and life. 3 months later, Andrew came to the US for business and asked to visit Jessica's daycares. "This is impressive," he said, touring the pilot location. "You've created something that really works." "Thank you. Would you like to meet Ethan?" "Of course." Jessica introduced Ethan to Andrew, who was kind but respectful toward the child. "He's beautiful and seems very bright." "He is, and very attached to his mom." "That's natural. You two have been through a lot together." That evening, during dinner, Andrew asked a direct question. "Jessica, may I ask you something personal?" "Go ahead." "Would you be open to trying a relationship with someone? Or did your experience with Nathan close you off to that?" "Why do you ask?" "Because I'm interested in you. As a person, as a woman, as a mother, as a professional. Andrew, my life is very complicated. I have a young son, a company expanding internationally, social programs. I know, and that doesn't scare me. In fact, it attracts me. You're a complete woman. And your kids, how would they react to you being in a relationship with a woman from the United States who has a son?" "My kids are well adjusted. They know their dad and mom are happy apart, and they want me to be happy." "And would you live in the United States?" "I could live there. My work can be done from anywhere, and the United States needs social projects more than England does." Jessica grew thoughtful. Andrew was everything Nathan wasn't. Mature, responsible, present, honest. "Andrew, if we're going to try something, a few things need to be clear." "What things?" "Ethan will always be my top priority. Always. I wouldn't expect anything less. And I won't accept being disrespected or abandoned again. If you're not sure about your feelings, it's better not to start anything." "Jessica, I'm 35. I've been married, divorced, raised kids on my own. I know what I want, and I want to try building something serious with you." "And if it doesn't work out?" "If it doesn't, we'll end things like responsible adults, thinking of the children's well-being." Jessica decided to give Andrew a chance. They started a long-distance relationship, with him coming to the United States once a month and her going to England when possible. Ethan grew used to Andrew gradually. Andrew never tried to take his father's place but was affectionate and present with the boy. 6 months later, Andrew moved permanently to the United States. He rented an apartment near Jessica's house and began implementing his social projects in the country. Nathan didn't take the news of Jessica's relationship well. "Who is this guy?" he asked during one of his visits. "He's my boyfriend." Ethan needs to know he has a father. Ethan knows he has a father. You, Andrew, is his mother's boyfriend. What if Ethan gets confused? Ethan won't get confused. Andrew isn't trying to be his dad. He's just someone dear who's part of our lives. This isn't right. What isn't right, Nathan? Me being happy? That's not it. That's exactly it. You can't stand seeing me happy with another man. What if this guy mistreats Ethan? Andrew would never mistreat a child. Unlike you, he's a responsible man who understands kids need stability. Are you implying I mistreat Ethan? I'm saying abandoning a child is a form of emotional mistreatment. This conversation marked the beginning of a tenser phase between Jessica and Nathan. He began questioning her decisions more, wanting a say in Ethan's upbringing, showing jealousy toward Andrew. One day, Nathan didn't show up for his scheduled visit with Ethan. No call, no explanation. "Where's Daddy?" asked Ethan, who at 2 years old already spoke in full sentences. "Daddy couldn't come today, sweetheart. Will he come tomorrow?" "I don't know, Ethan." Jessica called Nathan, but he didn't answer. She sent messages with no reply. 3 days later, Nathan called. "Hi, Jessica. Nathan, you missed your visit with Ethan without a word." "I know. I'm sorry." "What happened?" I couldn't handle seeing my son playing with another man." "What do you mean?" "I saw the photos on Brittany's Instagram, Ethan playing with that English guy at the park." "Nathan, Andrew is part of my life. He'll be there for family activities. But Ethan is my son, and you're welcome to join those activities too. You're the one choosing to distance yourself. How can I join family activities when I'm not part of your family? You can be part of Ethan's life without being part of my personal life." What if Ethan starts calling this guy Dad? Ethan knows who his father is, and Andrew would never encourage that. "Are you sure?" "I am, because unlike you, Andrew is a mature man who thinks about the children's well-being before his own ego." After that conversation, Nathan stayed away from Ethan for 2 months. The child asked about his father a few times, but would quickly get distracted by other activities. "Mommy, did Daddy disappear?" Ethan asked one day. "He didn't disappear, sweetheart. Sometimes grown-ups get confused and need time to think." "Andrew doesn't get confused." "No, Andrew doesn't get confused." "Is Andrew my friend?" "Andrew is our friend, a very special friend." During this time, Andrew proved to be exactly what Jessica needed, a present, mature partner who respected her independence and adored Ethan. "Jessica," Andrew said one evening, "can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Would you like to have more children?" "Why? Do you want to have children with me?" "I'd love to, if you want to as well." "Andrew, I'm 32. I run an international company. I have social projects. I don't know if I could balance everything with another child. What if you had help, a partner who truly shared the responsibilities?" "You'd do that?" "I would. In fact, it would be a pleasure to raise children with you." Jessica was moved by Andrew's sincerity. Nathan had always seen fatherhood as a burden. Andrew saw it as a blessing. "Let's let life decide," she said. "If it happens, we'll be ready." 2 months later, Jessica found out she was pregnant. This time, the news came with joy, not fear. "My God, Jessica." Andrew lifted her into his arms when she told him, "Are you happy?" "I am. I'm completely happy." "And your kids? How will they react?" "They'll be excited about another little sibling." "And Ethan?" "Ethan will be an amazing big brother." When Jessica told Ethan he was going to have a little brother, his reaction was pure joy. A baby in Mommy's belly, that's right. Like Ethan was in Mommy's belly. Exactly. "And Andrew is the baby's daddy?" "Yes." "And Nathan is my daddy?" "Yes. You'll have 2 daddies. Nathan, who is your biological father, and Andrew, who is your stepdad." "That's great. 2 daddies." The simplicity of the child contrasted with the complexity of the adults. When Nathan found out about Jessica's pregnancy, he reacted with a mix of anger and sadness. "You're pregnant with that Englishman?" "I'm pregnant with my boyfriend, yes." "And Ethan, how does he feel about having a little brother?" "He's happy." "And me?" Did anyone think about how I'd feel knowing my son will have a brother from another father? Nathan, this isn't about you, it's about Ethan having a happy, stable family. A family I'm not part of. You're part of Ethan's life, but you chose not to be part of our family when you left me. And now it's too late for us to get back together. Yes, it's too late for you to be a good father to Ethan. It's never too late. By then, Jessica's daycare centers were operating in 15 countries. The original model had been adapted for different cultures, but the core concept remained the same: quality childcare near mothers' workplaces. Jessica was invited to speak at the United Nations about female entrepreneurship and balancing motherhood with a career. 3 years ago, I was a pregnant, abandoned woman with no prospects and no money, she told delegates from over 100 countries. Today, my company employs more than 2,000 people and serves 4,000 children worldwide. What was the secret to your success? A delegate asked. Not being afraid to start over and understanding that our greatest strength sometimes comes from our greatest difficulty. After her speech at the UN, Jessica was approached by several international organizations interested in implementing her social projects. This pregnancy was completely different from her first. Andrew accompanied her to every appointment, set up the baby's room, attended parenting classes, and read books about fatherhood. It's amazing how different this pregnancy is, Jessica said to Catherine. It's different because you have a real partner. Sometimes I wonder how it would have been if Nathan had been present during Ethan's pregnancy. There's no use dwelling on what could have been. What matters is you found someone who values you. Andrew is amazing with Ethan. And Ethan adores Andrew. Yeah. Sometimes I think Ethan gets along better with Andrew than with Nathan. That's natural. Andrew is there every day. Nathan is just a weekly visitor. During her 8th month of pregnancy, Jessica had to travel to the United States for an important meeting about the international expansion of their daycares. Andrew insisted on going with her, worried about her traveling so close to her due date. Jessica, you shouldn't be traveling right now. Yes, it's just 3 days, and it's a very important meeting. Then I'm coming with you. Andrew, you have your projects here. My projects can wait. You're more important. Ethan stayed with Catherine during the trip. It was the first time Jessica had been away from him for more than a day. Mummy come back soon? He asked Catherine. She will, sweetheart, in 3 days. And bring present? Mummy always brings presents. The meeting in New York was a success. The American executives were impressed with the daycare results and approved expansion to 50 more cities. On the flight back to the United States, Jessica started having contractions. Andrew, I think the baby's coming. What do you mean? There are still 3 weeks left. Babies don't follow schedules. Andrew called the flight attendant, who confirmed Jessica was in early labor. We'll make it to the United States, the pilot said. But we have medical staff on board if needed. During the 8-hour flight, Andrew held Jessica's hand, talked to her, and distracted her with funny stories about his kids. Thank you for being here, Jessica said during a stronger contraction. Where else would I be? Nathan wasn't even there when I was at the hospital in the US. I'm not Nathan, and I'll never leave you alone in an important moment. They arrived in the US at 6 in the morning. An ambulance was waiting at the airport to take Jessica straight to the hospital. Ethan, Jessica called out when she saw her son at the hospital, accompanied by Catherine. Mommy, baby come. She's coming, sweetheart. Olivia was born 3 hours later, healthy and beautiful. Andrew cried when he held his daughter for the first time. She's perfect, he said, just like Ethan when he was born. Ethan's going to be an amazing brother. When Ethan saw his little sister for the first time, his reaction was pure wonder. She's so tiny. You were just like that when you were born. Can I pet her? Of course, sweetheart. Ethan gently touched his sister's head. Hi, Olivia. I'm your brother, Ethan. Nathan showed up at the hospital on the second day, bringing a gift for Olivia. She's beautiful, he said, looking at the baby. Thank you. How did Ethan react? He's in love with his sister. And how is he handling all this? Handling what? Having a stepdad, a sister. Ethan is happy. He has a family who loves and cares for him. Jessica, can I ask you something? What? Would you let me take Ethan to spend a weekend at my mom's? She's sick and really wants to meet her grandson. Jessica was surprised. It was the first time Nathan had ever asked for anything related to his family. Your mom is sick? She had a stroke 2 weeks ago. She's recovering, but she's always wanted to meet Ethan. Nathan, Ethan is 2. He's never been away from me for that long, but please. It's important for my mom and for me too. Jessica looked at Ethan, who was playing quietly in the crib next to the bed. All right, but a few conditions. Just 1 weekend. You call me every night. And if there's any problem, I'll come get him immediately. Thank you, Jessica, really thank you. That week, Ethan spent his first weekend away from home with Nathan. Jessica was anxious the whole time, calling repeatedly to check on him. He's fine, Jessica, Nathan assured her. My mom is smitten with him. And him? How's he doing? He's having fun, playing with the old toys I had when I was a kid. What about bedtime? He cried a little, but my mom told him stories, and he fell asleep. When Ethan returned on Sunday, he was beaming. Mommy, Grandma gave me chocolate. That's great, sweetheart. Were you well behaved? I was, and Grandma said I'm as handsome as Daddy was when he was little. How wonderful. Mommy, can I visit Grandma again? Jessica was moved. For the first time, Ethan had formed a bond with his father's family. Of course you can, sweetheart. In the following months, Ethan began visiting his paternal grandmother once a month. These visits strengthened his relationship with Nathan and gave him a sense of belonging to his father's family. Olivia grew up healthy and happy. Andrew was a fully present father, waking up at dawn to give her bottles, changing diapers, singing her to sleep. Andrew, you're an amazing father, Jessica said one night, watching him rock Olivia. I love it. I love being a dad. Nathan was never like that with Ethan. Everyone's different. What matters is that Ethan now has the experience of a present father figure. Do you think Ethan sees you as a father? I think he sees me as Andrew, and that's okay. He knows who his biological father is, and he knows he can count on me for anything. Thank you for being like this. Like what? Generous, mature, present. Jessica, you gave me a beautiful family. I'm the one who should thank you. When Olivia turned 6 months old, Jessica received an unexpected offer, an invitation to become the Secretary of Social Development for the federal government. Jessica, said the advisor who brought the invitation, the president was impressed by your social projects. He'd like you to bring your experience to the government. I don't have political experience, but you have practical experience, and that's what the country needs. Jessica discussed the offer with Andrew and Catherine. What do you think? I think it's an incredible opportunity for you to expand your social impact, said Catherine. And I'll support whatever decision you make, said Andrew. But it'll be a lot of work, a lot of travel, a lot of responsibility. And don't you already handle all that? Catherine asked. Yes, but being a secretary is different. Jessica, Andrew said, you've already transformed the lives of thousands of women and children through your projects. Imagine what you could do with government resources. Jessica decided to accept the position. At 33, she would be the youngest secretary in the administration. The swearing-in ceremony was emotional. Ethan, now 3, was there, along with Olivia, Andrew, Catherine, Brittany, Margaret, and several women from the Fresh Start program. During her inauguration speech, Jessica spoke about her journey. 4 years ago, I was an abandoned woman with a baby in my arms and no prospects. Today, I take office as Secretary of Social Development, certain that every crisis can become an opportunity. In the audience was Nathan, who had asked to attend the ceremony. I'm proud of you, he told Jessica afterward. Thank you, Nathan. And proud that Ethan is the son of such a strong woman. Ethan is our son, and he can be proud of both his fathers. Jessica, can I ask you something? Go ahead. Do you forgive me for what I did to you? Nathan, I forgave you a long time ago. Forgiving was necessary for me to move forward. And do you think we can ever truly be friends? We already are. We're 2 adults who raised an amazing child and managed to overcome the hardships of the past. Thank you for not turning Ethan against me. I would never do that. Ethan deserves to love and be loved by his father, no matter the mistakes you made with me. As secretary, Jessica implemented public policies based on her practical experience. She created a national corporate daycare program, expanded training programs for women, and developed policies to support female entrepreneurship. In 2 years as secretary, she managed to reduce the number of women in socially vulnerable situations by 30% and created over 500,000 spots in public daycares. Secretary, a journalist asked during an interview, what was the biggest challenge of your term? Proving that public policies can be effective when they're created by people who've lived through the problems they aim to solve. And the greatest success? Seeing women in desperate situations rebuild their lives and support their families with dignity. After 2 years as secretary, Jessica decided to return to the private sector to focus more on family and further expand her social projects. At her farewell ceremony, she gave an emotional speech. When I took this position, I promised to work so no woman in the United States would face the hardship I did when I was abandoned with a newborn. I believe we've planted the seeds of a fairer country for working mothers. Ethan, now 5, was at the ceremony alongside Olivia, who was 2. Mama's famous, Ethan told Olivia. Mama pretty, Olivia replied. After leaving the ministry, Jessica focused on expanding her projects internationally. The corporate daycares were already operating in 30 countries, and the Fresh Start program had been implemented in 15. Andrew proposed during a simple ceremony at the farm, with the children as witnesses. Jessica Miller Parker, will you marry me? I will, Andrew Parker. And you, Ethan and Olivia, do you accept me as an official part of your family? Yes, Ethan shouted. Yes, Olivia repeated, not quite understanding what was happening. The wedding was held at the farm, attended by family and friends. Nathan was there with his new girlfriend, a teacher he'd met and had been in a stable relationship with for 6 months. Congratulations, Jessica, Nathan said at the reception. Thank you for being here. Ethan invited me. He said he wanted both his dads at his mom's wedding. He's a wise boy. Yes, and he has an incredible mother. During the reception, Ethan gave a speech that moved everyone. Mama, thank you for giving me the best stepdad in the world. And Andrew, thank you for taking care of my mama and my sister. And Nathan, thank you for being my birth dad. Now I have a big family and everyone loves each other. The child's simplicity and wisdom left everyone emotional. Years later, Ethan would become a young entrepreneur, following in his mother's footsteps. Olivia would pursue medicine, wanting to care for children. Andrew and Jessica would have another son, a boy named Noah. Nathan would marry the teacher and have a daughter, maintaining a good relationship with all the children. He'd be a present father to his youngest and keep a respectful bond with Ethan. Catherine remained Jessica's partner and mentor until retiring at 70, proud of helping build a business and social empire. Brittany became the national director of the corporate daycares and raised Margaret alone, showing her daughter that women can be independent and successful. The Fresh Start program would help over 100,000 women around the world rebuild their lives after traumatic situations. 10 years after that terrible day at the hospital, Jessica was sitting on the porch of her farm, watching her 3 children play in the yard. Ethan, now 12, was teaching Olivia, age 9, how to ride a bike, while Noah, 3, chased after a dog. Andrew walked over and sat beside her. What are you thinking about? I'm thinking about how life takes such incredible turns. How so? 10 years ago, I thought my life was over. Today, I have a beautiful family, an international company, social projects all over the world, and a husband who loves you madly. And a husband who loves me madly, Jessica smiled. Do you regret anything? The suffering I went through? No. Because that suffering made me who I am today. What about Nathan? Him neither. If it weren't for him, I would have never met you, never created the daycares, never helped so many women. So you're even grateful to him? In a way, yes. He freed me from a mediocre life so I could build an extraordinary one. At that moment, Jessica's phone rang. It was an international call. Hello? Mrs. Miller Parker, this is the Nobel Foundation. We have a proposal to discuss with you. The end. So what did you think of this inspiring story? Let us know in the comments which moment moved you the most, and tell us, do you know any woman who's been through a similar situation? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more uplifting stories.